welcome back for this social business track. We'll have 3 sessions this PM, and I will talk a little bit about the first one because, you know, since this morning, I'm asking you to send us some feedback on Twitter, by email, because we want to hear from you. We want to hear your thoughts about this curation of content. And this is what happened last year in Paris. We had a panel around social enterprise, and we had one speaker you really enjoyed. And so based on this feedback, we wanted to invite her again here on stage for a keynote, a 15-minute keynote. And this is Sandy Carter for IBM. And please help me welcome Sandy Carter on stage for a keynote.
Thank you, and good afternoon. I just flew in from New York today. I was with Cedric at LeWeb Paris, and I loved it, so I wanted to come back. My Twitter ID is on the chart. I would love for you guys to follow me, Sandy_Carter, because I'll also make sure that we have lots of references and lots of stories. So let's go and get started. We got a quick 15 minutes. So one of the things I want to talk about today is becoming a social business. I travel around the world. I've been to about 69 countries talking to companies, small, medium, and large, about how to become a social business. One of the things that we've developed over the last 4 years is something called our Social Business Agenda. And it's really a methodology with a whole set of content and best practices on how companies around the world can start their social journey. The first thing we look at is organizational goals, so what your business goals are and how social can help you with those goals, as well as culture. My favorite saying is culture eats strategy for lunch. So no matter what great social strategy you have, if your culture isn't ready, then you won't be successful at social. Secondly, we help companies build trust plans, how to get trust generated from their customers. And then we look at engagement, how you move your client from being a spectator to being a participant with you. Next, we look at your business processes because we believe that you can measure social return on investment. And so we help you build a business process primarily by looking at social embedded in your process and looking at results before social and then after social. Finally, we look at designing for reputation and risk management. You cannot opt out of social, like many CEOs have tried to do. One I met on a plane who said that he and his board had voted to opt out of social because it was too risky. So we help companies develop a risk management plan. And then we look at analytics, how to analyze the data. So what I'd like to do is to just walk you through some examples, and I wanted to use IBM as an example. Even though IBM is a large company, I wanted to show you some of the things that we've done to become a social business, and knowing that the same techniques of using this social business agenda can be used and leveraged regardless of size of company. So let me start first with this whole area of culture and goals. So I think one of the very unique things that IBM has done is we have really embedded social into the soul of our company. One of the first things that we've done is really taken to heart that culture eats strategy for lunch and ensured that each IBMer, each employee of our company, knows what social is, understands the tools, whether it's Twitter or LinkedIn, understands the internal social tools. And we have something called a digital IBMer hub that consists of education, ways that you can understand how to use the tools, best practices across the world, to really see how IBM can leverage social in driving its business value into the marketplace. We also focus a lot on trust with our customers and trust with our employees. And we found that there's 3 drivers of trust in the blogosphere. Being transparent and open, sharing expertise, not sharing marketing messages or sales messages, but sharing your expertise, and then being responsive and consistent. For instance, IBM has a social intelligence center based with people manning the center or personing the center 24 hours a day. 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so that we can understand what clients are saying, we can respond to them quickly, and so that they don't leave conversations open, unended. We also look very carefully and closely at what we call the tippers. So for us, the tippers are those 15% of clients who influence everybody else. Believe it or not, there have been 5 studies that show online 15% of your clients in the social world influence everybody else. So one of the real cores is to understand who those 15% are. Leveraging our analytics tools, we identify those folks, and one of the examples you see here is we look at the top bloggers, for instance, in social, and we've invited them into a community. We share additional information with them. We solicit their input and their ideas, and we make sure that they, as influencers, are in the inside and are also influencing us in the marketplace as they go out and blog or tweet about content. So this gaining trust is really important. So we first talked about how IBM embeds this into the culture with a digital IBMer, culture eats strategy for lunch. And then we have a trust plan, how we develop trust with clients, from using a social intelligence center to having a set of influencers or bloggers who are influential in areas and us adopting them or bringing them into the fold. The next thing that we really focus in on is engagement. Now, how many of you realize that IBM actually creates games and uses games in our engagement with customers? Well, we do. And in fact, we have 2 different types of gaming and gamification that we think is essential in the social business world. One you see at the top, which is a game that leverages a hero and a villain. It has a scoring mechanism. And in fact, this particular game called City One has about 80% gamers that play it that are in the C-suite of corporations. You can go and try it yourself off of our website. It is also our #1 marketing technique, bringing in more leads into the company from this social game where you compete against other customers or companies and partners. It's actually our #1 demand generation idea. Now, why does IBM use gaming? Well, if you use gaming in a social aspect, you have an 80% higher recall of content than if you just talk to somebody or blog to somebody. In addition, the average age of a gamer today is not the age of your child, but it's 35 years old. So we believe very strongly in gaming. Now, gaming doesn't have to be as sophisticated as you see here with IBM's use of City One. It could be very simply taking techniques or things that you want to incent your clients on and rewarding them for it. So at the bottom, you can see some of the badges that we leverage. You'd be amazed at what people do for badges, write additional product reviews, help you get ideas on products, and also levels. What kind of level are you in particular different areas? So both of these techniques help us in our engagement strategy and help to move our clients from being a spectator with us to being a participant with us. Now, a couple of ways that we've embedded social into our processes. One is our advertisement. You know, a typical advertising process is one where we see focus groups that are done online. We see folks gathering in New York, because that's where we're based, to come up with great ideas. But with the advent of social, the way that IBM now develops its advertising is we crowdsource it. So we set up gigantic, what we call jams. We get input from our current customer set, potential customers, influencers, university students. And from their input and their ideas, we create our advertisements. In fact, this is one of our award-winning campaigns. All of the slogans, the actual visuals that you see on here, were all crowdsourced from thousands of people around the world coming up with these slogans. So for instance, one, social engagement is the new return on investment. That particular ad slogan was all crowdsourced for IBM by our fans, if you would. In addition, we've taken this into our product innovation setting. We have something called Developer Works. We have over 3 million people in our community, 4 million engagements from those folks. And if you look at what we've done in Developer Works, we gather people together and they give us ideas about products. they crowdsourced a product called Project Zero. And in fact, at a major conference we had 20 people from IBM who developed the product. We wanted to recognize them in a room of 10,000 people. So we were going to ask them all to stand up. But we had crowdsourced this product. So when we made the announcement for anyone who had worked on this product to stand up and take a bow, we didn't have just the 20 IBMers who had developed the product, but we had 1,000 people, customers, partners, who stood up when we made the announcement because they felt so a part of that development team and that innovation. This particular use of social won Forrester's Groundswell Award, really talking about our early entree into this whole area of crowdsourcing, ideation, and collective intelligence as well. And we've really continued that. This is part of our new approach to develop product. This is from our community that's built on a product called IBM Connections. And I think one of the really cool things that you can see here is we've now taken social to the next level. Our clients can input ideas. As they input an idea, other clients can vote on that idea. Once that idea has now been selected to be included in one of our products, it gets graduated or promoted into that product. So you get instant feedback about what's coming into the product, and clients can iterate on others' ideas as well. So far, this particular release, we've had over 225 ideas go into the product. And the great thing is that clients see the instant feedback of what's happening in the way that we're developing this particular product or portfolio. Now, one of the top areas that I think that IBM and other companies are really looking at for social is how to manage risk. So, you know, social is risky. All of the Fortune 100 who have either jumped into social or stayed away from it have had something written about them that is not positive. And so the way that you manage risk, I think, is really important. By the way, several different job categories have come up from social, and one of the big ones are social risk managers. Yesterday I was in New York City at a conference, and I met a dozen social risk managers, a new job category to manage this risk. So part of the thing that we do is we do have a plan. We listen. We know how we're going to respond, what the cases are. We rate things 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, red, yellow, green for the alert system. We have a team that's ready to go, and based on the comment, we have different people ready to respond. We're also listening. In fact, in one area, we had comments posted that we actually worked on the dialogue for about a year because the comments were accurate, were very true, and they really provided good insight into us. One of the things that we've also now started to do is reputation management. So we got a new CEO in January this year, Ginny Rometty, who kicked off the next century of IBM's history. And the great thing, I believe, is that Ginny is now leveraging social to communicate with employees. She set out a vision for IBM to be an essential company, leveraging social in order to get input. So she set the vision, but she's asked clients and partners and IBM employees, what does essential mean to you? And I don't know if you saw our new CEO study, but today only about 15% of CEOs around the world leverage social to either communicate with employees or external. But the prediction is by 2015 that over 60% of CEOs will leverage social. And Forrester predicts that use of social, your digital reputation as a CEO, will be part of board appointments and also selection of CEO by 2015. So the last area is analytics. And we look at 4 different things at IBM in terms of analytics. We look at affinity, we look at predictive capability, predicting trends, and we look at this on a daily basis. We have a dashboard. So I just pulled one of the dashboards that I look at on a daily basis. So this is on IBM's social business messaging. I can see whether it's positive or negative. I can analyze the audience. I see who's talking about social and who's talking about IBM. I can see what's positive and what's negative that enables me to take action. The most important part to me of social analytics is the predictive capability. Looking at trends out there and discovering and determining, is this particular trend a fad or is this something that's going to stay around? And so leveraging social analytics, we are able to do that. and not wait and look at historic information, but truly look forward at the trends that are coming to ensure that we're on top of our game and that we're meeting our clients' need and really focusing on that client value, leveraging social. So in conclusion, IBM, I think, has one of the largest social deployments in the world. We have over 400,000 IBMers leveraging social. If you look at LinkedIn, we have about 200,000 IBMers on LinkedIn. We're on Facebook, and we're on Twitter. So we have embedded social into everything that we do. We do have a product called IBM Connections that we use for developer works. And we were just looking the other day at the number of customers who use that portfolio and how long it took for 1 million users to be on that platform. It took Facebook about 10 months to have 1 million users. It took IBM Connections about 13 months. So we use our own products, we eat our own cooking, and we make sure that we're really focused on social. Again, I'd love to connect with you. We've done this for many, many, many companies. I'd love to see your ideas. Follow me on my Twitter ID, Sandy_Carter. And I'd love for you to subscribe to the blog so that we can have a dialogue. And I constantly write stories that I think are very relevant about companies using social for best practices, like the example I just gave you from IBM. So thank you very much for your time.